Today we're gonna design a very simple grunge poster using Adobe Photoshop. So if you love sports poster design and if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, then please do subscribe. And if you wanna get this PSD file and also exclusive merch, that's going to be available for my Patreon from coming month. So if you wanna get that, please check on my Patreon. And yes, there are a lot to cover. So without any further ado, let's dive into the video. Alright, so here we're in Photoshop, and very first thing, let's create an artboard. And for that, press Ctrl and N, or you can go to File, New, and then let's go for 4x5. Let's keep the resolution as 300, color mode to RGB. Let's keep the bitrate as 8, and let's keep everything as default, and let's click on Create. I have this player cut out ready to go, so let's drag and drop this picture right over here. Let's keep it inside a group, Ctrl G. Let's rename it as player 1, and then let's drag and drop another image. Let's keep it inside a group 2, Ctrl G. Let's rename it as player 2. And let's drag and drop one more, and let's keep it inside a group 2, Ctrl G. Let's rename it as player 3. Right, now let's do some adjustments. So let's turn off the visibility for player 1, and let's turn off the visibility for player 2 too, and let's do some adjustment. So Ctrl T, let's make it bigger, and let's keep it right around here. Now let's turn on the visibility for player 2, and Ctrl T. Let's keep it maybe somewhere around here. There we go. And let's make it a little bigger, I guess. Let's add a little more rotation. Just like so. Here we go. And let's turn on the visibility for player 3. Let's press Ctrl and T. Let's keep it right around here. Alright, let's do it right around here. Here we go. And now let's see. Let's create a layer mask. Go back to brush and let's click on that black color. And let's erase these parts just like so. Alright, let's keep it like that. And then let's go back to brush again. And let's erase these hard edges just like so. And let's do the same thing, create layer mask. Let's erase these parts just like that. Here we go. Let's make it a lot bigger here. We go. Let's keep it right here. And let's do some adjustment for this one. Maybe let's rotate a little bit. Yeah. There we go. All right. And let's create a text. I'll just type number 1. And let's make it a little bigger. There we go. Let's make it appear white. Just like so. And then let's go to filter. Let's go to blur. And apply. Let's go to blur and let's apply field blur. And let's click on rasterize layer, or maybe let's convert it as a smart object. All right, now let's increase slide bokeh. There we go, and maybe let's increase the field blur. Got more, just like so, and let's click on OK. And let's make it a bigger, I guess. There we go. Just like that. Maybe squeeze it a little bit. Somewhere around here. Alright, and then let's keep this number 1 in between right around here. Let's create A's. Maybe let's make it a little bigger. Here we go. Alright, and let's increase the blur length some more. Maybe somewhere around here. Yep. Alrighty. And let's copy this blur. Control J. Let's keep it maybe somewhere around here. Yes. Like so. Let's make one more copy. Control J. Control T. Let's keep it maybe right around here. Alright, let's make one more copy. Control J. Let's keep it all the way to the top. And maybe let's keep it right around here. Let's make one more copy. Let's keep somewhere around here, something like that. Let's keep it like that for now, and then we're gonna tweak that later. Anyway, so now let's add a texture on very top. So I have a texture ready, so let's drag and drop this texture on very top. And then let's fill this texture just like so. And increase some more. Here we go. And let's tune the blending mode to screen for now. Let's create a layer mask, go back to brush, and edit some of these textures right from here. Maybe let's increase the opacity. Let's get this back a little more. Here we go. Just like so. And now let's add a text. P-A-T-R-R-C-K, Patrick. And let's give it a kind of similar color. Maybe something bright, something like that. And let's increase the font size just like so. And from here, let's add a filter. Let's go to blur. Let's add some Gaussian blur. Let's convert this text as a smart object. And go back to filter, go back to blur. And let's go back to blur and let's add some Gaussian blur. Maybe somewhere around here. Something like that. And let's click on OK. And let's keep this all the way to the bottom. Maybe somewhere around here. Just like so. Let's make it a little bigger. Where? Around here. And now let's do something for this number 1. So here we go. Let's make it a little bigger. And let's keep it maybe right around here. Now let's do some color adjustment. So select this player image. Let's start with our very first image. So select this player image, go to filter. Let's go to camera raw filter. And let's see. Let's increase the texture. Let's increase the clarity. And let's drop down the highlights. Let's increase the shadows some more. There we go. And for the saturation, let's drop down the saturation for orange just like that. Let's drop down the yellow to almost negative. And for the hue, let's move more towards this side. And for the red, let's increase the saturation for red. And let's drop down the luminance for red. Somewhere around here. Maybe let's change the hue more towards somewhere around here. And drop it down some more. Here we go. And for sharpening, let's increase the sharpening a little bit. Let's add a D-hit some more. Here we go. Somewhere around here. Increase the texture some more. Maybe clarity some more. And let's drop down the vibrance just a little bit. Somewhere around here. And let's click on OK. Now let's do the same thing for this picture. Let's drop it down some more. Here we go. Now let's go back to layer 2. Filter. Let's go to camera raw filter. Let's apply previous setting. And for this one, let's increase the exposure a little bit. Here we go. Maybe let's increase the shadows some more. And I'll skip it like that. And let's do the same thing for this layer 3. Go to filter. Let's go to camera raw filter. Apply previous setting. And let's drop down the exposure a little bit for this one. There we go. Now let's add few text. So now let's drag and drop a picture right around here. Let's keep it all the way to the bottom. And now select this layer. Let's change the saturation to -100. So for that, Control U. And let's drop down the saturation just like that. And then change the blending mode to multiply. Here we go. Let's add a text. Control T. And let's keep it under that texture. Just like so. Let's change the color to kind of red. Control G. Let's add some skew. Just like so. Let's keep it right around here. Let's make it a little smaller. Just like that. Maybe let's drop down. Let's make it a little darker. Here we go. Let's merge everything. Control Shift, so Alt and E. Let's do a one more color grading. So let's go to filter. Let's go to camera raw filter. And very first thing is dehaze a little bit, just like so. Increase the clarity one more time. Increase the texture a little bit. Let's drop down the vibrance just a little touch. And maybe increase the luminance for orange, yellow. And for the hue, let's move more toward here. Maybe orange, let's move more toward here. Even this, and let's make it the saturation for red. Just like that. Let's click on OK. And you know what? Let's make a one more copy. Control J. Let's go to filter. Let's go to blur gallery and let's add some ice blur. So I'm gonna add a little bit right around here. So yep, so that's the final, and I hope you guys learned something new from this tutorial. And I'll see you on next video. Till then, you guys take care, be safe and be creative. Bye bye.